Assalamu alaikum viewers. In this consecutive episode of my live session, the person who is going to add with me, he is Mr. Austin Uzim from Nigeria. Within few minutes, he will remain connected with me, and this session is sponsored by Virtual Phone Line. Waiting for Mr. Uzim. Hopefully, he will get the connectivity till he is joining here. I am just having the drag into hot water for my throat as usual. Mr. Austin, I am waiting for you. And please, you are messaging me that you just seen that notification. Please search there so I can achieve the ability to bring you before my camera. Waiting for Mr. Austin Uzim. Welcome, Hamid Ahmed Salhi, but I'm waiting for Mr. Austin Uzim. Yes, Austin, you are here. Brother Austin, you have a green colored exit option. Please put your finger over activity. You have a green colored exit option. Please put your finger over there to get the connectivity. Calm before the light. Please don't go to the dark place. Mr. Austin, calm before light.
Okay.
Okay, so are you listening me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so maximum viewers are from the continent of Asia. The viewers from Bangladesh, from India, from Pakistan, maximum are of Asian continent. They are not belong to African continent. So better if you introduce yourself first before our viewers. Who are you? Where are you from? Please introduce yourself elaborately.
Okay. Thank you very much. My name is Austin Uzim. I am from West Africa, Nigeria, to be precise. And I'm a humanitarian, a volunteer, and also a business enthusiast. So basically, I'm very happy to be connected with you.
Brother, take this microphone near to your mouth. That will be better.
Yes. Okay. So I'm excited to be sharing this moment with every one of you, and I'm here for any question and answer that can help us to actualize our aim of being here. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Mr. Austin, nice to hear. That sounds definitely good that you are a humanitarian. So if anyone want to be a humanitarian, people think that I have not enough financial ability to serve the humanity. People think that I have not enough money that I can feed the people who are still starving. I cannot provide the shelter who are still living under the open sky. So do you think that anyone need to have financial ability to be a humanitarian?
Very good question, my brother. You see, first of all, the word humanity is a global terminology. It means act of kindness. So you do not necessarily need the finances before you can become a humanitarian. Sometimes we meet people that just need a soft word spoken to them to calm them down. Sometimes also we just need to spend time with people that need time to be spent with them. Sometimes also we come in contact with people that just need attention. We come in contact with people that need financial assistance. We come in contact with people that just need love, pure love, with no religion attached, with no politics attached, with no sentiment attached. You see what I mean, my brother? So humanitarian services here is all encompassing. Okay, but it is the most important aspect of it is that portion of yourself you are giving out, that dedication of yourself, that part of yourself that you are giving out to service to humanity. You see what I mean? For instance, if you're walking down the road and you see a child who is crying, and then you don't say, hey, this child is not my child, I don't care, you go by your way. Part of your humanity should tell you, hey, find out why this child is crying and then see what you can do to help. That is humanitarian services. Okay. So if you take it to the highest level where you need finances, oh, beautiful. You could see, let us use the same child on the streets. Now, people are going to school, but this child has no shoes. He has no sandals. He has no school bags. He has no tuition fee to be in school. And you've encountered this child and you have found out that this child wants to go to school. Now, this is where you ask yourself, what can I do to help to pay this child's school fees? What can I do to help send this child back to school? And then maybe you have a friend, you don't have money, but you have two friends, you have three friends on the social media. You go on Instagram, you go on Twitter, you come on Facebook, and you say, hey guys, you've been my friends. We have a problem. We have a child. He needs to go to school. He doesn't have a school uniform. Can we get him a uniform? Can we get him a sandal? Can we get him a shoe? Can we get him a textbook? By the time three people respond to you, knowing you are genuine, knowing you are honest, knowing you are real, that problem will be solved. You see, you don't have money, but you have a voice. So to me, humanitarian services is all about having a voice, giving out your voice. Lend me your voice in this situation. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Mr. Austin, I want to know that you have a massive innovative idea that how anyone can be a successful humanitarian, not only through the financial ability, not only through the massive cash amount of cash, he can
Mhm.
remain a humanitarian through his uh, own willing and his civic sense. So, Mr. Austin, I want to know from when, since when you are contributing for humanity
Oh, that's a beautiful question. That is as far back as year 2000.
in the year of
All right.
2000.
The year of 2000, I had just finished my high school, and then I hadn't a fund to go to college, or what we call the university in this part of the world. So, but I have passion for teaching. I have passion for impacting lives. And then my parents told me, because I had two elder brothers who were already in the university studying medicine and law at the same time, and that I was asked to to sit back while they advanced before I could go back to school. So I don't like sitting back. So what I did was that I volunteered to become a teacher. All right. So
Okay.
I volunteered to teach in a primary school, and then I was helping children to solve algebra, to solve logic, what we call primary science. And I found it so fun because these children depended on me for knowledge. So I volunteered to be their.
Unfortunately,
Hello?
he got.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
yes, yes. I think I
Brother,
had a
if
hiccup there.
okay, brother, if any call come to your phone, please you have to disconnect that. Don't receive it.
Yes, I disconnected already.
Okay, okay.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Please carry on. Please carry on.
So I volunteered to become a teacher at the primary level, and I noticed that the more I taught children what they don't know, the more I became aware of what I didn't even know myself. So the opportunity to educate them opened the universe of knowledge to me. And then it was more or less like a fun learning outcome for me. And then I started preparing these children for their high school education. I would take them to what we call common entrance. It is an examination that sees you out from a primary section into the secondary or high school section. And I was doing this, and then the management of the school now said, Mr. Austin came to us and volunteered to teach without asking for a dime in return. Here is what we can do for Austin. We will be paying Austin every month a paltry sum of $100. Okay, for sustainability, so that he can buy soap and wash his dress, so that he can also buy a tie, so that was amazing, So I started earning $100 every month, and you know what? The job became more interesting. I dedicated myself more. Now, I found out that minus the passion I have to teach, the incentive that came as funding, as salary or payment, became an extra catalyst. I was highly motivated. Okay,
Okay.
so and I was saving the money while I was doing the job. I did this job for 5 consecutive years between 2000 and 2005. It was then I said to myself, hey, Austin, you have saved enough little money. It is time to go back to your education. And so in my country, we have an exam we call matriculation exam. It is an exam that allows you to write it and pass it, and if you pass, and you would go to any university of your choice. So I sat for the exam in 2005. I passed and I got admitted. So that was how I continued my education. In fact, for the I have developed in the classroom, I had applied for a course known as business education, which simply is defined as education for business and about business. So I did that course for 4 years in the university and I graduated. So when I graduated, I went for my youth service as it is compulsory in Nigeria, or a 1 year youth service. Then, during my 1 year youth service, I volunteered to be a teacher again in a secondary school where I was now helping students who were preparing for their SSCE, what we call West African Certificate Examination. And the
Okay.
period of 1 year, the period of 1 year I spent saw me through, and I was able to deliver. And then the students were happy. I also introduced their school to a Facebook because I noticed that the school was one of the oldest school in town. So I introduced the school to the internet. I created a Facebook page for the school, and I used that page to establish a strong alumni relation between the old students of the school and the current students of the school. So as I speak with you right now, I have long left the school, but the page is running, and people who have been past and present students of that school are liking the page. They are finding themselves going back to the school to say, how can I contribute to the growth and development of this school? And that one encouraged me the more. And then I said to myself, I need a mentor, somebody who will shape my vision, who will shape my mission, who will help me understand how things work on the global stage. And then I found a man. His name is Strive Masiyiwa. Strive Masiyiwa is a public figure. He's from Zimbabwe originally, but he lives in South Africa and London. Strive Masiyiwa is using his Facebook page to mentor African next generation entrepreneurs. And so I studied him. I read his autobiography. I found out that he is a remarkable human being. And I decided to follow him. So I began to use my God given talents to respond to people's requests, and I was finding a lot of them coming back to me to say, Austin, I am happy for the response you've given me. I am so happy. Please, can I be your friend? I need to learn more. And before you knew it, I found myself mentoring even people that are higher than myself. And then I found Rehan on Facebook, and I said, oh, there are great mentors here, and I fast followed him immediately. I sent him request. I sent him message on inbox. He responded. He said, if you want to be my student, you have to do my thing my way. And I said, I am all here to learn. And it was through him I came in contact with yourself, and then the whole thing became more like a global stage. So at every point in my life, I look for an opportunity to serve. And most often, I forget myself. It is all about service to humanity. So that is how I got my life motto, which is service to humanity. And then in 2018, my mentor asked us a question on his page. He said to all of us, "What do you have in your hand?" And we all answered, "Smartphone." He said, "If only you know how powerful the smartphone in your hand is. It is more powerful than the technology that launched NASA in the space. That is how powerful the smartphone in your hand is. It is enough. It is enough for you to do whatever you can do in this world." So that gingered my curiosity and I went into a deep research. And then I didn't know the research I was gonna carry out until January last year. Because of my contributions on this man's page, he has 4 million followers all over the world. And then he saw my effort and he said to me, "You know what, Austin? I am inviting you to 2018 NBA All-Star Games in Los Angeles in California. I want you to come to the United States and watch this game." That was my first invitation, my first ever international invitation. And I was like, "Oh my God, this is so amazing. A public figure is inviting me. This is amazing." I was excited. I got over 1,200,000 congratulations on the social media.
Okay, so
So
where did you invite it? In which
I was
country?
I was invited for 2018 NBA, National Basketball Association in United States of
Oh,
America, California, Los Angeles.
okay, that's amazing.
Yes. So, and I applied for my visa. On the day I went for my visa interview, I was denied visa by the US Embassy in my country. And I felt disappointed. And at the same time, I wasn't discouraged because my mentor had taught us whenever you fail at a task, go back to the drawing board and find out why you failed. And so I went back to the drawing board and I looked at the rejection letter. There was no explanation to why I was refused visa to the United States. But I started an investigation and a research. And I discovered that the American government in any country does not give visa to anybody who does not have a strong tie in his home country. By strong tie, I mean, are you having a job you are doing in your country you will come back to even if you travel? Are you a frequent traveler? Have you traveled before and you returned? Have you any job you are doing? Are you working with any organization? They always look for avenue to make sure you would come back when you travel. But they couldn't find any of this on me. They looked at my marital status, I was single. They looked at my employment, I was not employed. They looked at my travel history, I have zero travel history. They also looked at any other thing they could. The only thing they could see on me was a high-profile invitation from the sixth richest man in Africa who was asking me to come to the United States. And they said, "No, we cannot allow you to go." So in that disappointment, I remembered a question my mentor would always ask us: "What do you have in your hand?" At that point in time, I told myself, "Austin, you have a smartphone. The American embassy said you're a nobody. It is now time for you to make yourself a somebody." And then I said, "Okay." I looked at my phone. I was having 50 MB. And I said, there was this crisis going on in my country. It is insurgency, Boko Haram activities. A lot of children are being displaced. Parents are being displaced. Farmers are being dislodged. These children find themselves in the refugee camps, in the IDP camps. And I said to myself, I would volunteer to go and teach out of school children. And so I volunteered to go and teach displaced children in the refugee camp. When I go there, I teach them digital literacy, which is the ability to understand how to actually use the devices we have in our hands. For instance, I give them my phone, they play with it, they play some game with it. At a particular event, they smashed the screen of my phone. That was the price I had to pay. So, and I also introduced to them what I call financial literacy. Because if you come to Africa, there is a common thing you're gonna find out. You're gonna find out that an average child in Africa is on the street hawking, selling things. And I said to myself, this is not a weakness. We shouldn't condemn these people. Let us teach them financial literacy, bookkeeping. How can they utilize $100? If we give them $100 support, can they also boost their business? Can they also employ other people to work? So, and I said to myself, since we have 13.5 million children who are not in school in my country, this is going to be my personal job. I will volunteer to teach them what I know. And so I came up with a concept and I said, we can all be transporters. How can we change the status quo? How can we help the coming up generation, especially vulnerable children in Africa? If we all can hand over the knowledge we have to the children who are seeking knowledge, they will become game changers. That was my argument. And I made a post on Facebook and I said, I don't care where you are right now, but if you are on the surface of this earth, you can volunteer to be the ambassador of a child in any country where you are. And I said to them, if you have a smartphone, you can use your smartphone to tell us the story of a vulnerable child in your country. And then I can tell you the solution on how we can solve it. And that was how I started an organization called African Transporter Initiative. And we launched it on June 7th, 2018. And currently we have 30 countries that has volunteered all over Africa. And I am the founder. So at that point in time, my status began to increase. And then in June, this man who had invited me to America said, what happened to my friend Austin? I learned he was denied visa to come to America. Okay, this is what I'm going to do for Austin. I want Austin to travel to Russia and watch World Cup. Wow. So the same man is inviting me to Russia World Cup. I was like, wow, this is so amazing. And so I was booked. My flight was booked. My fan ID was booked. My accommodation was, everything was booked for me. And I saw myself for the first time on Qatar Airways and I was flying to Russia.
Okay.
So I landed down in Russia in June 24th, 2018. And I watched the World Cup until Argentina edged Nigeria. So that also added to my travel experience because the US government said I didn't have a travel experience. Now I have one. And then I began to expand my social media horizon. And since then, it has been an amazing achievement from one step to another. I never believed that there would be a day I will be on a live program that the world will be listening to me right now. So I also consider this opportunity a big plus to that. I'm running low on data. I'm running low on data. So let me conclude quickly. So to everyone out there who is listening to me right now, money is not everything, but passion is. If you have passion to do what you are supposed
Sure.
to do, the money will come. I want to work with people who put passion first before money. I cannot work with anybody who puts money first because it is passion that got me to where I am today. It is the zeal to help others, to make a difference in the lives of others. That is in here now today. And I cannot take that for granted. So, and I'm encouraging everybody out there, if you have a knowledge that can be useful to any child, to any other person, don't be in a hesitant to share that idea, to share that knowledge. Go out there and teach the knowledge you know. You have a know-how, go and share it out there. You have a skill, go and share it out there. You don't have money, but you have an expertise. Go and share the expertise you have. Somebody needs to know what you know. Okay? That is the message, my brother. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
So, Mr. Austin, actually, I do not, still I cannot find what type of adjective I need to add to appreciate you. You are definitely a dignified personality, and you are the blessing of entire humanity, including the dwellers of Africa there. So, brother,
Thank you very much.
we the inhabitants of Asia, we always observe that civil war is common in miscellaneous countries of Africa like Congo, Somalia, Sierra Leone, even in Nigeria also. So we know African continent in abundance in diamond. But what is the reason behind the civil war? Still some uh, people are dying for the scarcity of food and water. What is the reason behind that type of unexpected miserable situation there?
All right. Yeah. I'm very low on data, so this might disconnect before I make my points. But let me say this quickly. Um, Africa is the youngest continent in the whole world. By the turn of the century, the population of the continent of Africa would be above 4 billion. It
Okay.
means that half the population of the people in Africa are below the age of 20. So it is the continent of the millennials. Now, the major problem we have in Africa is hunger and poverty. Okay? But
Yes.
I believe that we can solve this problem by
How?
passion and compassion. Compassion, my brother. Compassion.
So passion is
I,
enough.
I, I took time to study the Israel, the Jewish people. They are very successful in what they do. They are the best inventors in this world. They are the richest people in this world. They are the people that has the highest um, recognition in terms of what. Now, what are the Jewish people doing that the African continent needs to learn? It is called brotherhood. 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 Uh, uh, um, in my organization, we have a program we call International Food Gear Chain, IFGC. It is a program I launched when I discovered that each time I go to the field, I would see children who are hungry. And then I ask myself, what can we do to produce food for these people? And I started speaking to countries, I started speaking to governments. Some government officials gave us land to plant sugarcane, for instance. So if we plant sugarcane, for instance, and we realize money from sugarcane, we use that money to buy food and give children in that region scholarship. In
Okay.
Kenya, in Kenya, one of our volunteers gave us 5 acres of land, and we used it to experiment on tomato farming, and we were able to successfully breed tomatoes. And then when we sold the tomato, we used the fund we realized to give children in that region what we call tomato scholarship. You see? So if we must end hunger in Africa, every one of us must put an eye in farming. Africa can feed the whole world. 80% of the food we consume in Africa come from the rural area. But if you watch the migration from rural area to the urban area, you would notice that the rural area have been abandoned. Why can't we give the rural areas good roads? Why can't they have access to electricity? Why can't they have access to good housing? Why can't they have access to good water? Because believe it or not, the woman in the rural area is more productive than the woman working in the city who is earning salary. Believe it or not. What can we do to support the woman who is using hoe to do her farm? We can introduce tractor business. So currently, I have a mentor who already watched the Uber model, and he introduced what he calls Hello Tractor. It is a situation whereby you can use your app and order a tractor, and it can work on your farm at a very low rate. We are going to send all the hoes in Africa to the museum using this method. So I want the government in Africa to support policies that can encourage production in the rural area. I want the government in Africa to allow Africans to move around African countries without visa restrictions. I want the government of Africa to allow entrepreneurs in Africa to be able to move their goods and services without border restrictions. For goodness sake, this is globalization era. For goodness sake, this is the fourth industrial revolution. Africa already missed out in the first and in the second and in the third industrial revolutions. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. It is time we break all the barriers. It is time we empower the rural women. We empower the rural children. We empower the youth. We still have to create employment in this continent. We don't want to encourage Africans to travel out of Africa, risking their lives in the Mediterranean Sea, dying in Libya, dying to cross over to Paris. We want them to believe in Africa. You see, we want, because there is gold and diamond buried in Africa. So we
Sure.
want a situation whereby this continent is enough to solve its own problem without asking for aid from anybody. All right? So there is a sensitization that needs to be done even at the grassroots. And the education system needs to be streamlined. Entrepreneurship should be introduced even to primary level, even to secondary level, even to university level. We need to create the attitude of job creation. We need to change our mindset on what we teach our children in the schools. I listened to Jack Ma, and he said, if we do not change the method of teaching, we would be in trouble in the future. It's already happening. So a lot needs to be done. We want more people to sensitize people in the rural areas, to empower people in the rural areas. There are more people like me out there, but we are not empowered. We don't have a voice. If you give us a voice on stage, we know exactly what to say, how to say it, and what we can attract when we say it. Let me tell you, I launched a birthday celebrity program on Facebook, and I said to myself, if we publish a birthday on Facebook, you give us $1. If you give us $1 and we collect $1 from 100 people, we can give an out of school child a birthday scholarship. This is innovation.
How can we pay? How can we pay $1 to you?
Very good, very good. Today we have so many ways we can receive remittances all over the world. I can show you there are many ways we can send money. I can even send money to where you are right now if I want to. And so with birthday program, because whenever you go to Facebook, somebody is celebrating birthday, it is the happiest moment anniversary of your life. So when we publish a birthday for you on our page, we are helping you to make you feel special and loved. We are helping you to see that you are loved by the world. And in return, we are asking you to give us $1. When you give us $1, we know that a child who is not in school can now go back to school that has boarding facilities and pastoral care. And then I shared this idea with Mark Zuckerberg, the founder of Facebook, on the 8th of August 2018. To my greatest surprise, my brother, Mark on his page on the 15th of August, he wrote, "Good news. Facebook has approved celebration of birthdays to support vulnerable children across the world." And then he said, Facebook has realized 350 million US dollars from birthday dedication alone. If you go to Mark page, if you go to Mark Zuckerberg page right now, go to the post he published on the 15th of August by 8:45 a.m. in 2018, you would see where he talked about it. So birthdays alone can remove the street children on the street of Africa. Birthdays alone can be used to build low-cost housing for the houseless homes in Africa. Birthdays alone can be used to empower children who have no means of feeding themselves. Birthdays alone can be used to employ the unemployed, because we need people who can work on the page the same way people work on Twitter, work on Instagram, work on Facebook. We can employ people from all over the world to be publishers on this page, and they can earn salaries for it. So these are my submissions. I'm out of data.
The way you suggest definitely marvelous, and I think the authority, the politicians, the authority, the humanitarian, even not only Africa, though in that area where humanity at stake, the Syria, the Libya, where people still dying and they're digesting boiled leaf instead of food, they should follow the way you suggest us. So, Mr. Austin, let's keep our conversation aside from your most significant humanitarian activity with the inhabitants of Asia, especially with the inhabitants of subcontinent, especially. We are keenly interested to know about the ferocious animal of Africa. We know that some dangerous animals are still living there, and life of the African dwellers is always in danger. And we heard some trees that can digest the human body. Is it true? Our prediction is true, or it is just a fictitious myth?
First of all, Africa is an interesting place to visit. I can bet you there's no place as beautiful
But we
as
scared.
Africa.
But we scared to move on
No,
Africa.
you don't have to be scared. In fact, if you have not been to Africa, you are missing out. I challenge you to come to Africa. I dare you to come to Africa. You don't want to go back anymore. All right. Every continent in the world has a single story. So you cannot use a single story of a continent as their general story. A lot of interesting things are happening in Africa. And believe me, there are legend and mythology surrounding each community in the world.
Okay, Mr. Austin, probably he caught by net issue. Okay, thanks a lot, Mr. Austin. He suggests us the way he suggested he is providing food instead of cash. He is providing food as scholarship instead of cash, and the way he suggests us that will he want to do if utilize the dwellers of Africa to live with due tranquility there. So thanks a lot, Mr. Austin, to give your precious time. Each and every parents in the entire world, not in Africa, I'm repeating, each and every parents in the entire world deserve at least one son like you to make the entire world into paradise. So the way he contribute, if we follow his mission, passion, purpose, vision, muse and inclination, we can replicate the hell into paradise, which is our planet named Earth. Khudafez. Assalamu alaikum.